I listened to your album Detour too.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
that was pretty dope as well, man.
Oh, you like that joint?
Yeah, yeah, man. What I liked
Okay.
about it was, and from your style, you kind of like, in fact, your sound when it comes to like R&B kind of reminds me of that 90s, early 2000s style of R&B.
Okay.
But then on
Okay.
the flip side of it, you got that hip hop vibe with it as well.
Yeah.
Um, have you always kind of combined the two on albums, or have you always also maybe went the route of maybe making a R&B album completely, or a hip hop album completely? Like, how do you work in between the two?
Yeah. So I took a lot of time beating into my craft on datpiff.com, RIP,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know. So there was like over, I'd say 27 mixtapes that I did have that were some solely focused on hip hop, some solely focused on R&B. I did find it to where when I was making the music, of course, I was like trying to figure out how would I, because I'm a fan of the music itself. So of course I was listening to, Lil Wayne's, the
yeah,
50 Cents, the Lloyd Banks, the Lloyd, the singer, Drake. I was listening to all those guys coming up as when I'm a teenager, of course, so I was listening and then also trying to do mixtapes. So I found that I would kind of like sound like them. And while doing these individual tracks, and I'm just like, maybe I should stop. So I took a long, like maybe 5 year break from listening to these guys, like every day how I was, right?
yeah.
So that way I can understand, like, okay, from my perspective, how do I blend what I like about music to what I enjoy to tell a story about? So that's when I like tried to find the essence in that. And it was really hard because at one point in time when I was doing them, I would like have like fire hooks, but then I would only want to do like one verse. You know what I'm saying? In the mixtape days, it was just like you can put like a 2 minute song on there and
Yeah.
then and maybe do a whole full song of somebody else's song, you know? So that's kind of how I got to where I understood how to blend it because then you don't want to overpower. Like, let's say I have a hip hop hook that is just me talking, but then I want to sing on the verses. So I had to find out how to actually blend that properly to where it's consumable and it makes sense. So that's where I will find. So I remember, for example, my mixtape, Who is Hyphy the Spider? I was really rapping on there crazy. But then I realized I know how to do these hooks that are like just catchy as hell. So then I backed up from that and started just focusing on doing rap hooks and then singing. So then it just got me to this mode to where I was like, okay, this the topic is probably like but the it's catchy as hell, you know. So then I understood how to really blend it all together, and that really helped me focus on what I wanted to make my my craft like. And I think coming out of that, my last mixtape was the Detour One. So Detour One, and it's on my SoundCloud now. I always say like that was like the epiphany of what I was always doing. I mean, of course, I got Signs as well, which is another mixtape that slash album. But I really feel like Signs and Detour were my peaks of my craft and me understanding how I want to portray my voice to the masses.